Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome to another week of Student City Live. We're currently in a series on justice. And not just social justice for the sake of the peace of our mind, but justice because that is what God has called us to. It's been pretty awesome so far. Now look, I'm definitely excited that we're starting to see an end ahead to our stay-at-home orders. It looks as though we're going to be all back together in the Student Center really soon. But before we begin tonight, I want to say thank you. Thank you to all of you who have persevered with us as we kind of learned how to do this online ministry thing. And thank you for your laughs and for your conversations, for your presence. We can't wait to see you in person, but I just wanted to let you know that you have made quarantine sweet. So tonight, we're looking at justice, and we've been using superheroes to help us understand what justice is. Tonight I want to take a poll, so whoever our host is tonight, make our poll go live right now. Tonight we're asking this: what is a superhero's main job? And you have 4 responses to look at. If the poll isn't working for you, just answer in the chat. Listen up. Their main job is to, letter A, to battle strangely dressed villains. Letter B, to model the latest trends in latex. Letter C, to show off their superpowers. Or letter D, to accidentally destroy a lot of buildings. I like that one, last one there. I guess superheroes do a little bit of all those things, but if we were to name one thing every superhero has in common, it would be this: superheroes help people. But while doing their best to save the world, have you ever noticed how much damage superheroes sometimes cause? I mean, like, seriously. Buildings get destroyed, bridges collapse, cars get smashed. There's a lot of destruction. As I was saying, last week we started a new series about heroes fighting for justice. Superheroes are known for helping people, but I have some good news. You and I don't need a cape or superpowers to be known for that too. Check this out.
If I have to stand on a corner with a higher mark sign on until you get hired, I'm gonna do that. He thought I was playing at first, but I was dead serious.
My name is Terrence Lester, and I'm the starter and founder of an organization called Love Beyond Walls, and we're based in Atlanta, Georgia.
First of all, I met Mark about a year ago, and it's funny because he was behind our center actually digging in the dumpster. He was looking for something to eat. He was experiencing homelessness and he was depressed. And instead of calling the police or kicking him off the property, one thing that our organization likes to do is befriend people. We like to get to know people, know their stories, and know how they arrive in the place that they are right now. And so I befriended them. I basically built a relationship. I explained who I was, and I kind of told them, if you're willing, our organization would be willing to walk with you. And over the course of us getting to know each other, I learned that he didn't have an ID, he didn't have any birth certificate, or he didn't have a social security card. He literally had absolutely nothing, and he was living from abandoned house to abandoned house. And I talked to our staff and some of our board, and we all decided we had to do something. And so we started to walk with Mark, and long story short, this process of trying to hunt down his, how do we get a birth certificate? How do we get his social security card? And we went through this whole process, and it was about a 6 to 8 month process just to even get his birth certificate. Because when you're experiencing homelessness, you need an ID to get other ID.
Hey, what's up, guys? Terrence here. Right now I'm standing in the Love Beyond Walls headquarters, and man, this piece of information came here. It's Mark's social security card, which gives him both his birth certificate and his social security card, so he'll be able to get his identification, his real ID, this week. And I'm about to surprise him and show him. Mark, you are on the video! What's up, man?
What's up, everybody?
You're on the video, bro. Guess what, man?
What?
Your social security card came.
Finally, yes, sir.
The first thing I asked him are, what are your top 3 goals? And some of his goals was like get an ID and, get back in touch with his children and get a job so he can become self-sufficient. And, handouts are cool for our organization. We get a chance to engage a lot of people that way, but ultimately, we're in this to see lives transform. Like, how do you go from, like, living in an abandoned house to having your own place to stay? That's the type of transformative work that we're engaged in. And so I made him that promise. I said, man, if you give your all, I'm gonna give my all. And he did. And he endured the processes, a lot of ups and downs. And then we finally got to a point where we got his ID. And I told him, I said, man, if I have to stand on a corner with a higher mark sign on until you get hired, I'm gonna do that. And he thought I was playing at first, but I was dead serious.
Hey, what's up, guys? Terrence here, man. We just completed day 1 of the Higher Mark campaign. We're gonna go out every single day, old school. Hey, what's up, guys? Today was a huge success. We were able to get Mark's resume into the hands of at least 10 people, and a few people have sent emails out saying they want to see his resume as well, so we're going to forward those. Hey, what's up, guys? We're walking downtown. Got my brother Mark with me. Have the Higher Mark sign on. Man, somebody saw the sign. What happened, Mark?
They saw the sign and asked me if I was looking for work, and I shared with them, yes, I am, and they asked me for a resume, passed them my resume, and then she's going to pass on my resume to the contacts in her office.
It's day 4 of Higher Mark, and I'm on the way to the Love Beyond Walls headquarters to pick up Mark, and we're gonna go stand around the city more with the Higher Mark sign on. We're downtown, and Mark is over there talking to a guy that saw the sign, and he stopped and he's just encouraging Mark and basically letting them know that many people who live in this country are only one paycheck away from experiencing the same thing that he's experienced. Man, out here in the heart of the city with my brother Mark.
What's up, everybody?
Man, got on a new suit. That brother is clean. Yeah, Mark, you got your new interview today, man. Your second interview. It's gonna go well. We're all hoping. You excited?
Yes, extremely excited.
Extremely excited.
Shout out to everything that Love Beyond Walls has done for me.
Hey, what's up, guys? Terrence here from Love Beyond Walls. Man, today is day number 5 for our campaign, Higher Mark, where we are actually attempting to get my brother and friend a job. And man, little did I know I would have my friend Eldridge reach out.
What's up, people? This is Eldridge. First of all, I want to do a big shout out to D&K. We're in front of D&K Soup City, right here by Greenbrier Mall. I was sitting at home on Instagram, and I seen the campaign. It was just like Higher Mark, and I'm like, bruh, let's do it.
The funnest interview was this interview with D&K Soup City, because the day before he had the interview with this company, they actually allowed him to go into the store and pick out 2 suits. They heard about the store and they were like, what better way to furnish somebody than to furnish them with some clean suits to just go into the interviews and be sharp.
Hey, what's up, guys? Good news. What's up, Sam?
How you doing, man?
What's up?
Yeah, hey, man, what's up?
What's up, Eldridge?
Yo.
Welcome to the newest team member of D&K Fashion, Soup City and Greenbrier Mall location, the best soup store on the planet.
Come support him.
Yeah, this brother just got hired, man. Celebrate.
One of the things that the Higher Mark sign did was it brought attention to his story, which was what we were wanting it to do. We wanted people to ask, what does Higher Mark mean? During this campaign of just wearing a sign and walking with my brother, man, we were able to raise enough funds to get him his own space.
Hey, what's up, man? Terrence here with my boy Mark. Mark, what's going on today?
What's up, everybody? Just moving in today, y'all. Temporary place to stay until I get something more permanent. appreciate everyone's support.
So now he has his own rooming space, and he's working, and he's no longer staying in abandoned houses. And it's campaigns like that that not only bring attention to issues that we should all care about 365 days of the year, but it gives people an opportunity to say, how can I leverage my talents, my gifts, my networks, whatever I have, whatever resource I have to bring restoration to a man's life that has been broken down.
Look, Terrence and his team at Love Beyond Walls didn't have any superhuman skills or talents, but they did something heroic for Mark. Hey, let's do this. Let's answer a couple questions in the chats. No conversations there right now. Let's just respond to what we watched. For example, what do you think were some of, or at least one of, Mark's specific needs? Watch it as others are writing their answers in the chats if you need to be reminded of it. But I do want you to respond. Write one of his needs down there. Next, before Terrence had Love Beyond Walls, why do you think no one else helped or cared for Mark? This may require a bit more thought and a bit more writing, but please answer this. I really want to process how things like this can move us to be more like Jesus. Okay, if you're still typing from the last question, listen up to this one. What do you think Terrence and Love Beyond Walls gained as a result of helping Mark? Pay attention to that question. Not what did Mark gain? We know that. What did Terrence and the organization gain? As you watch others that naturally serve and help people, this is a question that is big to understand. Okay, finally, what words would you use to describe Terrence? When we hear a story like this one, we're often moved, and there's something inspiring about seeing other people do heroic things for each other. Terrence didn't save the entire world, but man, he made a dramatic difference in one person's life. I want you to grab your Bibles tonight and open up to the book of John, chapter 13. We're going to focus here on verses 1 through 17 in one of the most difficult times of Jesus' life. Jesus, of course, did save the entire world, but that's not all he did. Jesus showed heroic love, kindness, and care to specific people, and then he told us to go and do the same. On the last night before Jesus was arrested and sentenced to death, here is the conversation that he had with his disciples. Listen to this.
Chapter 13. Jesus washes his disciples' feet. Before the Passover celebration, Jesus knew that his hour had come to leave this world and return to his Father. He had loved his disciples during his ministry on earth, and now he loved them to the very end. It was time for supper, and the devil had already prompted Judas, son of Simon Iscariot, to betray Jesus. Jesus knew that the Father had given him authority over everything, that he had come from God and would return to God. So he got up from the table, took off his robe, wrapped a towel around his waist, and poured water into a basin. Then he began to wash the disciples' feet, drying them with the towel he had around him. When Jesus came to Simon Peter, Peter said to him,
Lord, you gonna wash my feet?
Jesus replied,
You don't understand now what I am doing, but someday you will.
No,
Peter protested.
You will never, ever wash my feet.
Jesus replied,
Unless I wash you, you won't belong to me.
Simon Peter exclaimed,
Then wash my hands and head as well, Lord, not just my feet.
Jesus replied,
A person who has bathed all over does not need to wash, except for the feet, to be entirely clean. And you disciples are clean, but not all of you.
For Jesus knew who would betray him. That is what he meant when he said, Not all of you are clean. After washing their feet, he put on his robe again and sat down and asked,
Do you understand what I was doing? You call me teacher and Lord, and you are right, because that's what I am. And since I, your Lord and teacher, have washed your feet, you ought to wash each other's feet. I have given you an example to follow. Do as I have done to you. I tell you the truth. Slaves are not greater than their master, nor is the messenger more important than the one who sends the message. Now that you know these things, God will bless you for doing them.
Now look, this moment was revolutionary for two reasons. First, the disciples' feet would have been pretty disgusting. They didn't have closed shoes like we do today, and they did a lot of walking in dust, dirt, and animal poop. It wasn't very sanitary. Second, Jesus wasn't just a friend serving his peers. Jesus was their respected and honored rabbi, their teacher, their mentor, their leader. To have him take on the role of a servant and wash their feet would have been embarrassing, uncomfortable, and even wrong. But washing the disciples' feet was Jesus' way of caring for them, serving them, and teaching them something very important. Even before his greatest act of selfless love, dying on the cross, Jesus modeled a love on a smaller scale by washing his disciples' feet. Look back at your Bibles for a moment. We're going to drop down just a few verses further to verse 34 and 35. Now pay attention to this. That same night, Jesus said something to his disciples. Now read this, verse 34. So now I'm giving you a new commandment. Love each other, just as I have loved you. You should love each other. Verse 35. Your love for one another will prove to the world that you are my disciples. Jesus, our hero, taught love and care for others, but he modeled it too. Jesus spoke these words knowing exactly what was about to happen to him. He was going to be arrested, falsely accused, and murdered. He was going to do it all out of love for ordinary people like you and me. Jesus, for him, these weren't empty words. These weren't show. In fact, he showed his love and care for people through small acts of care like washing dirty feet, and huge acts of sacrifice too, like dying on our behalf. We may never have to literally lay down our lives for others, but we can be heroic when we love and care for others like Jesus did. Now here's the truth I want you guys to write down. Listen to this. God's decision to love me sacrificially reminds me to love others unconditionally. Let me repeat that for those of you in the back. God's decision to love me sacrificially reminds me to love others unconditionally. But the love we're talking about isn't about buying someone a nice gift or doing a simple task for them. The love we're talking about is deeper. It's not about doing something for someone so you get something in return. It's sacrificial. Jesus didn't care for people to be flashy or to show off his power. He cared for people to show them the depth of his love. And Jesus didn't hold back his kindness until he had a crowd to watch it or a friend to film it for social media. Jesus cared for the people that were right in front of him with no agenda or reward. In the same way, Jesus heroically cared for the people in front of him. He tells us to do the same because heroes care for the people in front of them. And that's our emphasis this week. Heroes care for the people in front of them. Well, so what does that look like? I mean, are we supposed to wash our friends' gross feet like Jesus did? Should we find someone experiencing homelessness and try to find them a job like Terrence did? Guys, it's not that difficult. Listen to me. Here is some truth. Consider writing this down to think about this week. Ordinary places are filled with extraordinary opportunities to care for others in heroic ways. It really is easy. Wherever you are, be aware of the people you can see. Be aware of the needs that surround you, knowing that many of those needs will be small and hard to spot. Jesus once asked his disciples, "Don't you have eyes to see? Don't you have ears to hear?" When we overlook the needs of the people who are right in front of us, I wonder if Jesus asks us this question too. Here are a few ways that you can see more clearly. Smile at someone who's alone. Hey, but don't be creepy when you do that, because that's just weird. Give someone something they need, like your coat or gloves on a cold day, a pen, a meal. Ask someone a question about themselves and then really listen to their answer. Pay attention to how others are feeling. If you see someone hurting or angry, see if you can make them feel better. You might try to make them laugh or give them advice or simply sit and be with them. if you want to do a better job of caring for the people in front of you, there are 4 words that I want to teach you. Again, this might be worth jotting down and praying through. For all of the talk of justice, let's work together to see that this group does more than talk. Here are the words that you need to know. First, I want you to write down this word, awareness. Like we just discussed, the first step in caring for the people in front of you is to be aware of them and their needs. Second, write down the word listening. If we want to care for the people in front of us, we must actively listen to the things they say. Not just hearing the words they're saying, but intentionally listen to what it is that they're saying. Third, and students, this is key. I want you to write down the word interpretation. If we want to care for the people in front of us, we have to think about how our words can be interpreted. And not only about what we meant by the words we said, it's our responsibility to consider carefully the words we say. Proverbs 10, verse 19 tells us that when we open our mouths too much, sin is unavoidable. We must be careful with what we say and think first. Finally, write down the word sensitivity. If we want to care for the people in front of us, we must be sensitive to the experiences and the perspectives that we don't fully understand. Sometimes our hearts might be right, but our mouths aren't. These are the first steps for us seeking to care for the people that God has placed right in front of us. Most of the heroic things that we do for others won't be seen by many or even by any. Sometimes the most heroic things we can do are the smallest but most meaningful things. We don't need to have superpowers to change the world, but we do need to be willing to care for others like Jesus cared for us. Remember, this week, there's something we should begin each day thinking about. In a time where our world is seeking people to fight for justice, remember, heroes care for the people right in front of them. This week, who are you going to heroically care for? We want to hear your stories. If you see someone who is doing this well, someone making a difference in the lives of others, share it with us. Just as much as Terrence's story is encouraging, yours can be too. Students, we can't wait to see you back here at the Student Center soon. Make sure you tell your parents that July 5th, Sunday morning, we will once again worship together. Our high school night is going to return on July 19th, and Youth Quake will be back on July 22nd. We are excited. Hey, thank you guys for paying attention tonight. I'm going to send it back to the Student Center for a little reflection, praying, and then Master Chief's going to send you into your life groups. See you later.